vir my. Tot in jou vlaktes waar al my drome kry. Tot in jou berge, jou riviere, waterstrome, koel in my. Ek kan vra, ek net hier na jou skoene staan. Oh, my vader, ek nooit so iets gedaan. Jy's beautiful vir my. Dis hier by jou waar ek wil bly. Suid-Afrika, jy's my mooiste land. Suid-Afrika, ja, dis jy wat my dra. Waar ek gewoon van sleep na sleep. My paard is so fout, en so stout. Suid-Afrika, ja, ons sien die trane. Suid-Afrika, en ek droom in jou wangen. Van hier sal ons leer dat ons mense spaar jou sien.
Well, all right. Is everybody ready to go? Good evening in South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, folks in Botswana. This is Chris coming to you with Indaba, Africa, in what was supposed to be an interview with Renaldo Gouws, a South African YouTuber and a ward counselor in Nelson Mandela Bay, but he has been called away to official business. So in lieu of that, I didn't want to disappoint people by not going online. So I've come online. I hope you enjoyed that. That was Giselle, South Africa. Very stirring song. Anyway, welcome to Indaba, Africa, the home of civil discourse and cogent conversation. Glad to have you all back today for the VP or Western Province and Stormers fans. You can see that I am dressed properly today. No Bulls jerseys, no Sharks jerseys. This is no New Zealand clubs. This is a Stormers jersey. So welcome in, folks. I see Drion's there. Annette, the Punisher. Hello, inmates. Well, welcome to all the inmates for tuning in. Thanks for coming in so much. For those hoping to tune in for Renaldo Gouws, we will be doing that stream, but it will be later today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S., and it will be at 9 p.m. South Africa time after Renaldo completes his program. My apologies for that and for any hiccups. This isn't clickbait. The intent wasn't to suck you in and get you in here for something and then just disappoint. We will do that. But in the meantime, I thought I'd do this Escape from South Africa stream just to talk about a few news events that are happening around today. So for those who are curious, this was my surprise. I mentioned it in a different stream that I would have a surprise for this today. This came in the mail yesterday, only the second time in my entire adult life that I've donated to a political campaign. And I think based on the fact that what I'm about to show you will probably give you an indication of where I might be planning to vote in November. So here we go. All right, there you go. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see that hat? It looks like it's a little oversized for me. Lizanne, welcome. Good to see you. Raymond, bite your ankles. I love that one. That's a good one. Jacques, good to see everybody. Ludwig Hoya. Yes, good to see everybody. All right, so there you go. Western Province rules. Thank you, Sarah. Yes, Sarah Pretorius, one of my favorite rugby players there for a while. Jailbreak. News is fake. Yeah, it looks like a trucker hat. Keep America great. Not make America great, ladies and gentlemen, but keep America great. For Renaldo Gouws and for South Africa fans, there's your traditional orange from the House of Orange from the Netherlands. Trump in 2020. There you go. And you like that. Of course, my favorite right there. And then in bold numbers over here, number 45 for those who missed it. Yep. Ice says he'd love one of those. I'd love to help you out, but this one is one you get only from the campaign by contributing. And as I said, only the second time I've ever contributed to a political campaign here in the U.S. The previous one was John McCain. And frankly, I didn't donate to it because I was a huge supporter of John McCain, but because I knew him personally and I wished him success, and his opponent made me want to gag. So only twice in my adult life have I given money, and this is what I got as a consequence of my donation, my political donation. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? And I don't know if it's made in China. Look at that. Look at, ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Look at that. What does that say? Made in the USA. There you go, right there. Whoa, yeah, made in the good old USA. We can make things in this country, and we can make them quite well, including this hat, which is pretty tough, the camouflage pattern. For all you Duck Dynasty fans out there, you might want to take this on your hunting trips. So welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. For those tuning in who are hoping to hear Renaldo Gouws being interviewed on my program, that will happen, but it will be later today, 9 p.m. South Africa time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. So it'll be 8 in London and Abuja for those tuning in from Europe or from West Africa. Anyway, so yeah, that's my little surprise for today. That came in the mail rather unexpectedly. And those who tuned in at the outset, you were listening to the wonderful music from Giselle, a Namibian singer based in Pretoria, who grew up in Grootfontein and then also in the Northern Cape for a bit in South Africa. She sings folk music, country music, and English and Afrikaans, and also pop music. And those who are longtime subscribers to the channel know quite well that, or full well, that we have a concert where she debuted her album Ons Mensa right here on Chris Wide Africa back on the 8th of May. That's still available. You're welcome to check it out and listen in. It's a fantastic concert, free of charge, just for your viewing pleasure. Skalk, good to see you there from Pretoria. All right. Yeah, sorry, no Bulls jersey today, Skalk. It's back to Western Province and the Stormers. Can current non-citizens contribute? I don't know how that works. I can look and see if that's still available. Let me make a note of that for the email, because I receive an email. See, once you give money to a political campaign, they just sell your email address. And so for the past 12 years, I've been getting endless emails, even in Africa, to donate to political campaigns from the Republican side of the aisle because I donated to John McCain's campaign. Or was it Newt Gingrich? No, it wasn't John McCain. I'm sorry. I didn't donate to John McCain. Or did I? Maybe 3 times I've donated. I think I donated to Newt Gingrich once too. Yes, email for the cap. Yes, because they keep sending these things out. You get other things. You can donate. They're asking for money. But this one here, I saw the cap and I couldn't resist. This is an awesome cap. And once again, this is awesome here. So take that and put it in your pipe, China, and smoke it. Yeah, look at that. Made in the USA. That's right. Made right here in the land of the free, the home of the brave. That's right. All right. There's my little patriotism there. So General Inflatable says, come on, please, one day wear a Lion shirt. General Inflatables, I don't have a Lion shirt. I had a Lion sweatshirt, a hoodie, which was amazing. And then when I left Ethiopia, I have no idea where it went. I'm trying to find it. It's amazing when I have a photograph of me wearing it in Austria when I went for a conference to Germany and then drove down to Austria. I took a couple of my colleagues down who'd never been to Austria. I've been there hundreds of times. And so I took them down to Innsbruck and I have an awesome photograph of me wearing that sweatshirt, that hoodie, but I cannot find it. But I don't have a Lions jersey. I've been to Lions games in Johannesburg, Ellis Park, but I do not have a Lions jersey, so it'll be a while before I get one of those. Thanks for folks tuning in. If you're just tuning in now, it's almost the bottom of the hour, and some folks were expecting Renaldo Gouws to be on the program. He's not here. Wait. He's not here. He will be here at 9 p.m. in South Africa time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard, or 8 p.m. in London, Abuja. We'll be doing that coming up later this evening because he had professional obligations. And so my apologies for that. If you were expecting him to be here, he will tune in later on. So hopefully we won't get cut off by the red ants today. And we'll go through some news events and talk about some of the developments in South Africa. A fair portion of what I'm going to discuss is views from outside South Africa, coming from news sources and analysts outside the country, talking about the ANC's hysterical reaction to the COVID-19 crisis. Okay. Hey, Sean, good to see you there. Sean, you made it for a live stream. Look at that. See, anything's possible, my friend. No, this is not a premiere. This is an actual live stream. I am coming to you live from central Pennsylvania right now, here to talk about South Africa and events going on. And unfortunately for General Inflatables, I'm not wearing a Lions jersey. But I am wearing a Stormers jersey. There you go, right there. Got to be honest with you, though, folks. I really prefer the World Cup jerseys for national sides because I really hate all this free advertising. Look at this. DHL's not paying me anything on my stream and all this free advertising. Land Rover. Oh, here's Land Rover right there at this side. And there's Land Rover right there. And you got Super Rugby on this side. And Adidas right there. Here, I always do this backwards. There we go. Adidas right there. All this free advertising, I don't get anything out of it. For that matter, even Starbucks, I get nothing from. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, surprise, surprise, surprise. You may be shocked to hear this, but I'm going to share with you right now. Not a lot of people know this, but South African Airways rescue plan has been delayed yet again. At least they're asking for a delay of until June 8th. It was supposed to be presented today, the 29th of May, by the 2 rescue practitioners. That would be Siviwe Dongwana and Les Matusin were supposed to present their plans for how to rescue South African Airways and bring it out of bankruptcy. Now, their intent is to unfold the company and basically liquidate it. However, the ever mischievous Minister Pravin Gordhan has his fingers in this, and he upset the apple cart by when they had a meeting a few days ago, and the business rescuers were presented with Gordhan's alternative plan for rescuing SAA. Pravin Gordhan is in love with state-owned enterprises. The communist that's deep in his heart can't let go of state control of the means of production, and his desire to save jobs. Yeah, right. Not saving jobs, a properly run, competitive, and financially responsible airline. Something wrong with my Paul Kruger beard right there. But a properly run airline would actually have secured these jobs. They wouldn't be lost. But once again, no surprise whatsoever, the business practitioners now for the fourth delay, ladies and gentlemen, in bringing South African Airlines out of its business rescue. Now, honestly, what are they going to rescue to? You can't fly anywhere. From June 1st, if you're on business, you can fly from South Africa around the country. So I suppose if you're a beauty parlor operator, you may want to fly from place to place to go to people's homes. I don't know. But anyway, so there is no real commercial aviation in South Africa at the moment, and there isn't going to be any time in the near future. Even though flights can resume on June 1st, don't expect to see airlines become profitable off of domestic flights. That's not where they're going to be making a lot of money. Besides, South Africa's two major commercial airlines, which both have subsidiaries, South African Airways and Comair, are in business rescue or bankruptcy. Now, South African Airways got there because of incompetence and nepotism. And if you watch my video on Dudu Myeni, which I published yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before, talking about the poster child for patronage, and that's exactly what she is. And that's what happened to South African Airlines, poorly run because of intrusion and interference from the government. Yet Minister Pravin Gordhan seems to think that it's appropriate for the government to continue to interfere in South African Airways business. So South African Airways, with its subsidiary of Mango, is bankrupt and ought to be liquidated. That's an opinion, my opinion. I think I'm not alone in that view. Welcome to those just tuning in. I see we're climbing the audience. Those expecting to find Renaldo Gouws here. He's not here. He got called away to a meeting at this hour. And so we will only be bringing Renaldo on later this evening. That will be 9 o'clock in South Africa, 3 o'clock East Coast US, or 8 o'clock in Abuja, London, for my subscribers and viewers from that area. But South African Airlines is bankrupt, and its competitor Comair is pushed into bankruptcy not because of incompetence. In fact, the airline had been profitable throughout its history until this past fiscal year, when it finally turned in a loss. But the reason that Comair and its subsidiary Kulula, the discount airline, are in business rescue is because the government banned them from flying. It prohibited them from generating revenue from their business model. So the government is responsible for the failure of Comair, and of course it's responsible for the failure of South African Airways. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read a few comments about this. So Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan came up with his own plan. For those of you paying attention to what's going on here, you see the intrusion of the government into the private sector, or what should be the private sector. Now, this restructuring is taking place with the help of a US-based consultancy group known as Seabury. And I tried to take a look at Seabury's operations earlier, but their website is not returning a hit. Interesting. No conspiracy theory there, just saying that it's hard to go read about the company. Now, the airline, which hasn't been profitable since 2011, has since that time gotten 22 billion rand in rescue money from the government and loan guarantees, yet it's still unprofitable. The group with its 10,000 or so employees and the airline with its 5,000 employees are basically bankrupt and probably headed towards liquidation. That's the plan. Well, now on to something that's going to, hey, Kyle, welcome aboard there. Your boss says, Chris, you know Craig Montgomery, known as the Hawk. I do not. Who is Craig Montgomery? Sean says SA will rise like the extinct dodo from the ashes out of our taxes. Woo, that's a good line there. I like that. Doo-doo the delinquent. Really? Yeah, that's the new tagline. There you go, folks. Hashtag doo-doo the delinquent. That's a long one, but that's a good hashtag. Doo-doo the delinquent. Or delinquent doo-doo. Maybe that's better. Hashtag delinquent doo-doo. All right, so now on to something that's of more interest to folks in South Africa in particular, and this is a stream that's focused on South Africa today since Renaldo's not here and it's escaped from South Africa. So interesting article by a gentleman named Alex Norcia, and this is, I believe, from the U.S., pulled this about the tobacco ban in South Africa and what's happening here. What's this? National Prosecuting Authority and IPID are now making hard work investigating police chiefs past, present, due to 2 officers pulled out as they were investigating them. Interesting. So Alex Norcia talks about the ban. So let me read a few comments here from his article. So for weeks, you couldn't walk your dog in South Africa. You couldn't go to the store. You couldn't jog for exercise. And when you eventually could, you had a 3-hour window to do so. Meanwhile, rival gangs swore truces to deliver food to suffering households as police brutality soared. At the end of March, the country had instituted perhaps the most severe and controversial lockdown in the world to combat the coronavirus, and that included a blanket ban on the sale of tobacco and cigarette and alcohol. I wouldn't say it's perhaps the most controversial. It is without a doubt the most controversial, draconian, and restrictive ban on the planet. What the African National Congress is doing. It is a communist wet dream. They are rolling around, sporting all kinds of smiles on their faces as they control the peasants, the masses. Yep, the serfs that exist for their exaltation. So, on June 1st, of course, we know a lot of restrictions will be eased in South Africa in many ways, although make it even more complicated. Can you fish? No, I don't know. It's a sport. Is it exercise? No. Can you do it? Can you walk your dog? You can't go to parks. So where are you going to walk your dog at? We shall see. And alcohol only from 9 to 5? Anyway, so we all stand in line close together, not maintaining social distance to buy the booze. You got to wonder about that. The tobacco ban, which includes not only cigarettes, but all tobacco harm reduction products like vapes and snus, remains in effect and has no real end in sight. In fact, this is true. Let's see. So there is an interesting report. Let me get on this, but let me catch comments here very quick before I lose folks. I was an expat who served in Iraq. He is your two. Okay, I'm not familiar with it. Thank you, boss. I'll take a look at it. The Hawk. Okay. The Hawk I know is from Spencer for Hire. It's a 1980s television show. Sean says, I worked in the aviation space. We did a drop more than 1% of jet fuel of a normal month. Wow. The industry cannot recover. No, the industry can't. But what will happen, ladies and gentlemen, is that outside players will swoop in who have deep pockets. Perhaps Emirates or Ethiopian will swoop in and buy up the assets of these distressed airlines. And then they won't be South African owned anymore. They'll be owned by foreign entities. Same thing is happening across South Africa, where, for instance, in Cape Town, bar owners who have only one bar and don't have the resources to survive this lockdown and this social distancing are being forced to sell their assets at a fire sale rather than watch them go bankrupt to those who have deep pockets and lots of capital, simply buying up all these bars. And when this is over, we're going to find out that only a handful of people own all the bars, own all the retail stores, which was already the case, but even more consolidation there. And much of the economy will be rested in the hands of the uber wealthy, while small and medium enterprises go out of business and South African jobs go with them. And that's happening all over the world. Right here in York County, Pennsylvania, we see the exact same thing happening. The government, as always, only protects its friends in big industry, big business, and not the rest of the country. Given that the vast majority of people who work and have formal employment in this country are employed by small and medium enterprises, it's shameful and disgraceful to see governors and mayors in this country undermining small and medium enterprises, all because they're hysterical and cannot react. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if you know this, but here in the U.S., 70% of the COVID-19 cases that are confirmed are in just 8 states. All those states, coincidentally, have Democratic governors. Yeah, that's right, including Pennsylvania, where Tom Wolf, the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is at. All 8 of the states with 70% of the confirmed cases. 74% of the fatalities in this country are in those 8 states. That means 42 states have only 26% of the fatalities and only 30% of the confirmed cases. Most of those states don't have lockdowns or have eased their lockdowns, but the rest of us remain prisoners like South Africans in our homes, in our closets, unable to go about our normal business, and watching our friends and neighbors' businesses collapse around us and the horror and the loss of jobs. It's disturbing. It's a totalitarian dream come true. George Orwell's 1984 didn't even begin to scratch the surface as to what these ghouls are capable of doing around the world. So for those just tuning in, thanks for tuning in. Renaldo Gouws is not here. He'll be here at 9 p.m., 2100 for those not civilians. 2100 tonight, South Africa time, 3 p.m. or 1500 here on the East Coast of the United States. So that'd be noon in California, if anybody in California is actually watching. And that would be at 8 p.m. in London and Abuja. My apologies for that, but Renaldo has a day job and got called away to it. Fortunately, we were able to reschedule. So we're doing this a live stream, escape from South Africa stream, just to talk about some news items and make sure that we didn't just disappoint everybody. So if you have to leave, I understand, but you're more than welcome to stay. I plan on doing this for about an hour max, and then we'll call it quits because I've got to do a few other things. I need to go get some more soil for my yard for the hideous work that the contractors built this place did, and my soil washing away. I've got to replant it and put some seed in there. Anyway, well, Just a Ghost just arrived. You didn't miss anything other than a fantastic rendition of South Africa from Giselle, which I used to open the program. It's fantastic. I'll probably get a copyright notice, but I have permission from the artist and her manager to use their music. And so I'll just ignore that one if it does come in. But again, back to the cigarettes man. Now, here you go, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, this article by Alex Norcia talks about, and this is not a South African, by the way, talks about a recent study from the University of Cape Town, which some of you may be familiar with, which seems to show exactly what the government skeptics and much of the public have been insisting all along, that the prohibition on cigarette sales does not work. Over a 2-week span at the beginning of May, Corne van Waalbeck, Samantha Philby, and Kirsten van der Zee, who are economic scholars at the college's research unit on the economics of excisable products, taxable things, surveyed more than 16,000 people about how they've been affected by the country's cigarette ban. So here you go, ladies and gentlemen, scientific data, research, actual things, not simply hysterical reactions from ministers who, and when they use tobacco, they put the saliva on the paper and then they share the Zol. Yes, not from lunatic ministers who behave in such a fashion without reason or compassion for South Africans addicted to nicotine and cigarettes, or those who just want to enjoy their smoke. It's funny. I don't like cigarettes. I detest them, actually, and I don't like to be around them. They give me a headache. I can smell them 100 meters away. And those who say that that's not true, it is true. If you've ever been a soldier in combat or on patrol at night, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can have a sense of smell 100 meters away. You can pick up a cigarette, that smoke coming from that distance. I can pick it up. Anyway, I don't like cigarettes, and I prefer that nobody smoke. But that's a personal choice. If you're an adult, it's a personal choice. Anyway, here I am defending cigarettes, defending smokers. Isn't that almost hilarious? But nonetheless, I care about people's liberties. I didn't serve in uniform for 36 years in the Army so that states could control people in such a fashion. Now, I didn't defend South Africa. I'm not a South African, but I did it for the U.S. and in our interest and our allies, friends, partners, allies around the world. Well, let me read to you comments from the study. It's called Zol. Yes, I know. I did say Zol, didn't I? Cosmic surfer. Yeah, but Zol is rolled cigarettes, but the intent is really talking about Daga and weed. But anyway, this is from the article. Our findings suggest that the ban of cigarette sales is failing in what it was supposed to do, the study reads. While the original intention of the ban was to support public health, the current disadvantages of the ban may well outweigh the advantages. Smokers are buying cigarettes in large quantities despite the lockdown and unusual brands becoming prevalent. And this is exactly what happened in the United States during Prohibition. And it gave rise to the gangsters and the mafia here in the United States, something that was not part of our history in any major way before the prohibition of alcohol in the 1920s in a mean-spirited way to get rid of alcohol. Now, alcohol was an evil, and it was causing all kinds of social ills, but the bigger picture here wasn't that the government should control that. That's up to civil society and people to correct the behavior of their family members. But anyway, we banned it. We had prohibition. It was a constitutional amendment. We amended our constitution to ban the sale of alcohol. Can you imagine that? And then, of course, was lifted later on after once we had mobs and the mafia all over the place. And so a similar sort of thing is taking place in South Africa today in our very midst. So this is more from the study. Nobody has really ditched the habit, which the government noted was the entire purpose for the ban on sale of tobacco. The survey found that 41% of smokers have tried to quit in South Africa, but only 39% of that group said they were successful. So 61% of those who smoke who tried to quit couldn't do it. And that was only 41% of the smokers. Only a small percentage of people in South Africa have tried to stop smoking and been successful. Some of them have probably since restarted, if you know how addictive cigarettes can be. Yeah, so this goes to prove the lengths people go to, the innovation they'll adopt to track down what they want. Yeah, people are getting their smokes, and the efficacy, or not the efficacy, the origin of them is really a concern, and the safety of these cigarettes, not to mention the lost revenue to the state. All right. Oh, Joe says, yeah, but Joe, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a show at 9 p.m. I was unaware of that. I can't control it. Renaldo and I, we picked 5:30 because I tried to get between his streams and also time that people would be at home and near their phones or their PCs. Sorry about that, Joe. Yeah, well, the good news for Joe is if you missed that show, if you come here and watch Renaldo at 9 p.m., which I'd be happy if you do. But if you want to watch Joe's show, you can watch it afterwards, or you can watch mine afterwards. It's your call, but you're welcome to come. But you won't be able to ask questions of Renaldo if you're not here live. Sorry, Joe. That was not intentionally done here. If you share a beer, you share a slab. Yeah, no kidding there. A bottle of vape juice in your room today. Well, look at that, Lone Wolf. Well, you guys in your vape in South Africa, man, they try to criminalize and demonize vaping here in the U.S. An industry I didn't really understand all that much. And once I saw that the left was trying to destroy them, I realized there must be something to vaping, and maybe it's not such an evil thing. And I did a little research and learned a lot about it, found out that suspicious scientific data and studies were used here to destroy the industry, which was unsuccessful, but did have a major impact on the vaping industry, which is unfortunate. Anyway, yeah, but I encourage you guys to watch Joe after my stream. No, whichever. If you want to watch Joe's stream, that's fine. If you want to watch Ronaldo here, again, apologies for that, folks. And especially for those who tuned in now and expecting to find Ronaldo, let me just update everybody once again. Ronaldo Gouws is not here at the moment because he had a real day job to go to and a conflict. And so we had to reschedule. We will be doing Ronaldo's interview tonight at 9 p.m. And in South Africa time. That's 8 p.m. in Abuja, London, and 3 in the afternoon here on the East Coast of the United States. So for those who are curious about what it's all about, I asked Ronaldo to come on the program, and we'll get a chance to learn a little bit more about Ronaldo. No, not about his dog and not that sort of thing, but what makes him tick, how he got where he's at. And some of this you may have heard if you've been a long-time listener of Ronaldo, but for the international audience, and even for a lot of the South African audience, some things I plan to ask him are things that are probably news to you and you're not familiar with. Plus, it'll give Ronaldo a chance to be relaxing and just answer the questions rather than try to be the orchestrator and the manager of the stream and make all these things happen. Which, trust me, when you're on the other side, you're just answering the questions. Life's a lot easier, even if the questions are hard. Anyway, so Renaldo hosts 9 p.m. tonight, Friday, May 29th, here on Indaba, Africa. So that's for letting folks know why he's not here right now. Popcorn flavoring and some sketchy brands make things difficult. Are we talking about vape juice? It's in partnership with a lady called Tammy Cooling and a coalition called USAC. I'll send you the email. Yeah, please do, Sean. I appreciate that. Lobbying the U.S. government to help South Africans. They do good work, but they have not been very effective. The interview. Yeah, actually, that would be interesting. I'll thank you, Sean. Please send me that. They are very ineffective. Okay, do you know many people that are more familiar with South Africa who are American than I am? Maybe you do. And there probably could be some folks like that. But I've never heard of these people. And I'm not that far removed from the seat of government and from government service. Never heard of them. So however effective they are, if they're effective, it must be behind the scenes. But given that Trump has said nothing about this in a long time, for those tuning in later, once again, surprise here for you. This came in the mail yesterday. There you go. That's right. Not make America great, but keep America great. Look at that camouflage and lovely duck dynasty pattern there. If you want to go out and shoot ducks, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is my Trump 2020 hat. For those of you who know, and interest full disclosure, was not a major fan of Trump. I still have a grudge against him for destroying the United States Football League back in 1984, or 83, excuse me. But yeah, Trump in 2020, only the third time I've ever given money. And there you go. That's the thing that matters the most right there. Only the third time I give money to a political candidate, previous ones having been John McCain, who was someone I knew personally. And then also the other one was Newt Gingrich when he ran against Barack Obama. I would have given money to a fly to run against Barack Obama. So anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And the best part about this hat, let me show you here. Once again, look at that. Made in the USA. Ain't that something? We do make things here in the United States. In fact, our industrial base is still about 18% of our GDP, despite the lies told by analysts and leftists in this country about our manufacturing base disappearing. It has changed over time. We require far fewer workers, so manufacturing employs far fewer people, but it contributes nearly as much to our economy as it has throughout the history of the country. The peak being up around 26 or 30%, but 18% is more of a historical norm for manufacturing and industry. So it is still a big part of the United States, and there you go. We make things here in the U.S. Right. Need to watch Duck Dynasty. Yeah, Duck Dynasty. I didn't get that show, but I see people. Joe wants the hat. I wish I could sell these hats. I'd make a fortune. Are these better than SEC? No, just kidding. Anyway, there you go. Keep America great, ladies and gentlemen. That's the latest one. Made in America right here. No cadres were injured or harmed in the manufacture of this cap. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is made in America. No illegal immigrants were employed in the manufacture of this lovely cap for Trump 2020. Anyway, back to the story on tobacco. All right, so 50% GDP. I don't know about Just to Go. Services are really critical. If manufacturing 50%, then you wouldn't be able to get access to a lot of services you've come to count on. They just wouldn't be there because as a percentage of the economy, it's smaller. Okay, so back to this. So instead of buying cigarettes from major retailers such as Spar, something like South Africa's version of Walmart, as you can see, this is written for an American audience, people have simply turned to unregulated corner shops in their townships, to street vendors, and to their friends and family. Unfamiliar, sometimes completely unheard of brands have become more prominent too, as major ones have virtually disappeared. Pushing many tobacco purchases to the illicit market has cost the country perhaps billions of dollars of potential tax revenue. No, not perhaps. It has cost a lot of money. Plus, sales of single cigarettes, a single cigarette, an act that is not technically illegal, but generally frowned upon, have significantly increased. Now, why does this matter? Well, because when you can get access to a single cigarette, kids find it much easier to get access to it. When you can buy a single cigarette off somebody as opposed to